Welcome, welcome to the Scarred Lands Meatgrinder. We could have called it the Gauntlet. Gauntlet sounds a bit nicer, sounds a bit more appropriate to the setting, but Meatgrinder is truer to what this game is going to be. We make no bones about the fact that this Scarred Lands one-shot is heavily tied into the creature collection that's currently on Kickstarter. This is going to be a demonstration of some of the wonderful monsters, critters, beasts, and the like that you can find in that book. And our wonderful assortment of players, more players than I have had at a table in a very long time, are going to be our heroic adventurers who fall into the jaws of defeat again and again and again. We have around 30 characters for this session. We're not expecting survival rates to be terribly high, but hopefully what you will get to see as viewers is some fantastic monsters and some fantastic moments of heroism, self-sacrifice, and self-preservation. I'm hoping that as people join in as viewers, as you become invested in characters' tales, we might be able to start a bit of a pool going. Let's see which character can last the longest from room to room. But before we get on to that, I think the players should introduce themselves and the characters they're playing. They can give you as much information about those characters as they like, as much or as little. As I say, there's going to be a mortality rate in this game, and we don't need a 2-page backstory, not for this session. And once they've done that, I'll explain to you a little about the Scarred Lands setting, and then we'll get into the game itself. So I'm going to go round the table and introduce each of the players, and they can tell you a little about themselves. So first we have Chris. Chris, tell us who you are, what you do on the Onyx Path Twitch channel, and who you're playing.
Thank you, Matthew. I'm Chris. I'm the Primogen on YouTube and Twitter, and I run my game of Changeling the Lost every Thursday here. It's called Little Brook Reunion, and I also take part in a Chicago by Night Chronicle every Sunday, where I play Carmen, the slightly neurotic insurance claim consultant.
Excellent. And who are you playing in this session?
Oh, that's right. I'm playing Magwyn Firebrand, a halfling rogue who is a former slave. She has an eye patch, more scars than clear skin, and she will do anything for money. Anything.
Okay. And Roz, what about you?
Hi, my name's Roz. I'm not one of the cool creative types you're going to see here. I'm in the Air Force, so I'm more of a doer than a thinker. And I'll be playing Kezi Sheena, a Manticora war veteran, similarly. She's a little cynical, though, fighting to unite her people, and a little scrappy, so hopefully get some good commentary out of that.
Lovely. And Connery?
Oh, hey there. I'm somewhere. I'm actually not on the overlay right now, but I am here. I'm the editor-in-chief over at Devil's Luck Gaming, and I will be playing a Terran druid named Thane, I believe is what I wrote, what I have written down here. Yeah, Thane. This will be my actual second time actually playing Scarred Lands, because I run it normally on Saturdays with Pirates of Bloodwater over on Devil's Luck Gaming.
And I'm going to take this opportunity now, although you can't see Connery because we've got that many players in this session. Devil's Luck Gaming, if you are not following their channel on Twitch, you really must. It is one of the finest actual plays you will ever find, far better than this one will be.
You flatter.
They take this game seriously whilst also having fun. And Ali.
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm playing Karn, which is short for Carnage. She's an iron-bred sorcerer, and she is a Titan spawn, and she has feelings for other Titan spawns because she feels like they are abused.
This won't go well. And how about Dennis?
Hey, I'm Dennis Martin. I play Jack Quick on the Scion stream, Athens, Ohio, which is now available on YouTube. We've just wrapped up our first season, and so you can catch it there, or you can watch it if you subscribe to the Onyx Path channel on Twitch. We're looking forward to our second season, and I'm happy to be here. I'm playing Greenstone, a cleric who has 5 small children who need his attention and is 3 days away from retirement.
I will hasten to add, the 5 small children are not with you in this. Or should they be? No, the 5 small children are not with you, but they might be somewhere else in the dungeon. And I think finally, unless I'm missing someone, we have Phil.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm Phil from PB Publishing. I am a creator of D&D material, mostly adventures, some player options and the like as well. Most recently, I've been working with Travis Legg, and we released The Haunt 3 ready for Halloween. Today I'm going to be playing Tunish, who's a Slytherin rogue. Very bold, confident, and quick to rush into situations he might not have thought his way through just yet.
Perfect. So, to reiterate for the audience and for the players, this game is going to be quick to kill. There will be stakes that are pretty high. I mean, there aren't many stakes higher than life and death, especially in a game of D&D, where in this session, at least, things like raise dead and true resurrection aren't going to be easily to hand, I can tell you that. We're starting our character roster off at a very low level. There's a mostly first level character, there's 1 second level character. And I should also add, before we start getting into the proper prologue, that there is 1 other player in this session who is also not visible. He's the man behind the scenes. He is Travis Legg, the inestimable, I should say, easy for me to say, Travis Legg, who is going to be behind the scenes. And you see that big blank white space in the middle of the Twitch stream. You will be seeing art from the Creature Collection, which is currently on Kickstarter. It's only about 48 hours left, so please do back it, of each monster that they encounter. It will be highlighted so that you don't have to rely on my cumbersome descriptions of monsters in order to actually get what's going on. Last shout out, and then we will start up. Some of the characters, some of the pre-made characters that are going to be in play in this session are from the book Children of the Mighty, which is on the Slurry Vault. Children of the Mighty is by Bill Bodden. So, hi Bill, if you're watching this. We've decided to purloin some ready-made characters from your product, and I hope that we treat them well. I don't think we will, though. So, to anyone unfamiliar with the Scarred Lands, and this is to the audience and to the players alike, Skarn, the land of Skarn, is a world rent by war, a divine war that has resulted in it becoming the Scarred Lands of the name. This war between gods and titans has made the geography of Skarn what it is today. There are great canyons where titans fell from the heavens. There are blood-red seas where corpses lay at the bottom and just permanently bleed. I should say corpses. It's very difficult to permanently kill a god or a titan. And their death throes, their thrash, has led to permanent changes to the world around the characters. Now, this divine war took place 50 to 100 years ago, around that time frame. So while the world is healing, it is pockmarked by these unnatural disasters, where some heroic, foolhardy types will even delve into the bodies of fallen titans, or they will maraud around the locations where titans and gods and their many, many mortal servants warred. in efforts to find things both magical and, of course, valuable. The greatest servants of the Titans still exist, and the Titan spawn. Some of them have tried to blend into society, sometimes with malicious aims, sometimes simply because their version of the gods, the Titans, are, for all intents and purposes, dead or weakened to the point where worshipping them is not necessarily a worthwhile endeavor. So you see creatures such as the Slytherin, the Rat Folk, the Asafi, the Snake Folk, the Manticora, and others that once were so tied to the Titans, now blending into human, elf, orc society. So in the last 50 years or so, the world has changed on many, many levels. Scarred Lands is a setting that blends Greek mythology with sword and sorcery, and there's a lot of horror to it, a lot of viscera to it, and there will certainly be a lot of viscera in this game. I can assure the players and the audience of that. So to begin, to most people of the Calastian hegemony, the legendary dungeons of Zathisk are just that, legends. Supposedly built in the century before the Divine War by a cabal of wizards with little too much curiosity and certainly too much time on their hands, the dungeons were said to have housed a myriad of foul experiments, acting in one part as a safe zone for magic users to practice all manner of arts, and in another as a zoo where spellcasters could research the weirdest and most abominable creatures of Skarn. Isolated from any built-up area, Zathisk is mostly desert and plateau in these days, with a few cities dotted around it. It was a place stricken with famine during the Divine War, sapped of much of its natural life. The nobles of Quelsk, the capital of Zathisk, permitted the dungeon's existence in the hope that they might benefit from monstrous additions to their armies or knowledge of predators that might attack their kingdom. If there was ever a noble purpose to the dungeon's existence, it stopped the moment a priest of Gormuth and her band of assassins murdered the wizards and appropriated the dungeons as a breeding ground for numerous Titan spawn. Gormuth, in simple terms, is a Titan of ooze and wriggling things. Chaos, if you like. The priest and her allies reshaped the dungeon to fit their needs, and while rumour has it Gormuth's servant and her companions met their ends in the Divine War, their changes to the dungeons and its inhabitants remained. And this is where you, the players, come in. You are not some bold adventurers about to raid an ancient dungeon in attempts to salvage magical apparatus and chests of gold. In the last 5 years, someone or something has been prowling the Calastian hegemony and snatching individuals of strength and intellect away, depositing them at the dungeon's lowest level. To date, none of these captives have escaped and told the tales of the dungeons of Zathisk. You are the only ones who know of it. Heroes trapped in a dungeon, fed and exercised routinely, but never greeted by your captors or their monsters. The only other faces you know, and potentially have only known for the last 5 years, are the 20 to 30 other prisoners. Your prison is sizable, with only 2 locked doors. One bears hundreds of small arcane carvings nobody among the prisoners has yet deciphered. The other is wooden, with iron bands. Many have attempted escape through the wooden door to no avail, being returned to the dungeon or disappearing completely. Those who do return speak of great and terrible monsters, but each new tale tells a different story. Some days, the room immediately outside the prison contains impenetrably thick cobwebs and horrifically sized spiders. Other times it's a bridge surrounded by purple, hungry ooze. Sometimes it's an empty barracks. Other times it's a mausoleum containing the bodies of every prisoner who has failed an escape attempt. The carved door has never successfully been opened. And today, for the first time, a pink-skinned man in a dirty brown cloak enters your level of the dungeon. A great bronze ring of keys on his belt. Wordlessly, he starts unhooking keys and throwing them at each of you. Once each of you has a key in hand or between your shackled feet, he speaks. You are free now. The carved door leads to death. The wooden door, through which I will depart, leads to life. The gauntlet will not be easy, but if you reach its end, well, you will never return to this place. The man makes to depart through the wooden door, leaving it open as he goes. So now I turn it over to the players. Tell me what you're doing with your characters. This is the first time an outsider who is not a prisoner has spoken to some of you in 5 years.
Who was that guy?
The floor is yours.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
see if
know.
the key works on my shackles.
It does.
That's a good idea.
Woo!
I do
work
the
on
same
mine
thing.
too, then if hers
Yeah.
works.
Stretch my limbs, stand up. All right.
I see
Well,
the key. I see my key, and I put it down. I bring out my lock picks, and I'm sitting there trying to unpick my lock. And I'm like, "Oh, I've got this. I've got this."
You're trying to follow that
pick
guy.
your locks. You have tried to pick your locks many an occasion, and sometimes it works, and you wake up the following night with the shackles back on your ankles. There's obviously something magical about this place, and that's not just restricted to your bonds. You've always been able to move around the prison. It is pretty damn sizable, but you've never been able to move around fast with a chain between your legs. The capacious prison itself is more than a single chamber. It's a prison of multiple levels with cells, gantries, tables, and benches. There's plenty of room to exercise. Food and water are delivered via thin chutes. One of them became permanently blocked after a halfling attempted to escape through the chute, and he's become jammed halfway up. Despite his body long since decomposing, no bones or flesh fell out, and no food or drink came out following either. So, a magical ambient orange light keeps the prison permanently illuminated from within.
well, who's the biggest one of us here?
I might be. I'm an iron bread.
Good. Go through the door and tell us if it's safe.
Ha ha! You first.
I'm the smallest one. The biggest one always goes first. That's
Oh
how
no,
it
no,
goes.
they won't see you. They won't see you.
No. Okay, if you're not going in, then who's going in? Because I'm not going in.
Because he's just
got
going to
this.
start doing sprints, ignoring the conversation.
Yeah, he's got this. Oh, you got this?
I've got this.
Perfect. I'll be right behind you, 70 feet behind
And
you.
I head straight for it. I don't even finish that conversation. Straight for it. Try and open it.
All right. You charge on through the open doorway, and while this would be a good occasion to just kill you, this is probably the only chance you get, only opportunity you get for that to not happen. You find yourself in a well-stocked armory. It's clad in iron and black cloth. None of you have ever seen this room before, with row upon row of weapons and armor. You can hear a low chuckle echoing around this sizable chamber. At the room's rear, a tall cabinet holds old spellbooks and scrolls, rings and cloaks, as pristine as they were when you last saw them. This is a place, essentially, for lost property, and it was right there all the time, it seems. This is all your equipment. When you were seized, whether it was last month, last year, or 5 years ago, it was just deposited here. It has not been stolen, has not been sold on. It's like greeting old friends when you find your daggers and your equipment again. It's refreshing to hold weapons you know in your hands.
Guys, I found everything.
Yeah.
Come on in,
Spellbooks.
Dave.
I follow in after. Spellbooks would get you about 50 gold pieces, wouldn't they? Start looking at the spellbooks.
Most of the spellbooks are, you would assume, warded or written in languages by the spellcasters themselves. Very few spellbooks are universal, but any spellcasters among you can recognize your old dusty tomes just sat there waiting for you to pick them up.
Well, I tried.
Once again, hear a chuckle echoing around the room.
So where is our pink skin captor / liberator?
He's not visible if he's here.
I'm going to search for an exit.
Wandering around the exterior of the room, you find a door to the left, and you keep walking around. There's a door to the right. The one on the left is marked with a spindly tree carving. The one on the right is marked with a filled-in black circle.
Well, I grab my gear, the ones that I find. It's a hand crossbow and a light crossbow and some daggers. And black dot usually means trouble. So is that some kind of tree symbol on there?
Yeah,
Anybody?
a very ill-looking tree.
Tree's a tree. Who's going first? You there, the one who went first. Check this door out.
Oh. And he walks over, has a look at it. I'd like to check for traps firstly, please.
That's a very good idea. Feel free to roll your d20 and let's see. Let's add your wisdom modifier to that, please.
Okay. That'll be a big old 12.
12. You find nothing unusual about this door. There's even a friendly-looking handle that you can turn and push the door with.
Oh, would you look at this?
I would like to mage hand the door.
Getting through those spells immediately. Yeah, you can do that. You can encounter mage hand very easily. So just as your companion is running his fingers over the door, trying to detect whether there's any darts that are about to shoot out and impale him, he feels the door opening in front of him as you use your mage hand to push it open.
I didn't do it.
One would assume you are some distance back using your spell.
Very much, yes.
Yeah, wise. As the door opens, you are greeted with what can't be real. That's what your senses tell you at first. You were sure that you were deep underground, but looking into this chamber, which is filled with, as the symbol depicted, a forest of red trees, all thin of trunk and loose of limb, branches and twigs dangling as if to brush you, were you to walk through. And looking up, just peering into the room, you can't see the end of it. The canopy blots out any sign of the ceiling. Again, there's that ambient orange light that, combined with the red, makes the forest feels quite warm. It's almost as if the light is generating a heat. Now, remind me, who is the character that was checking the door for traps?
That would be me.
And what was your name?
My name was Chunish.
Chinish. Tell us a little about your character again.
Chunish is a Slytherin rogue, very bold, confident, and likes to rush into things without usually thinking about it before.
Well, that may have been the best instinct, because for once Chinish was subtle, was discreet, was careful about checking this door for traps, wasn't just going to go boldly in, but it still stood in a doorway of a door that has magically opened in front of him because of the spell of his companion. And as you're just peering in, a scythe swoops down from the other side of the door. And I'm going to make a roll.
Oh my god. It begins.
What's your armor class, Chinish?
14.
14. I'm going to make another roll. What that means, viewers, if you're unfamiliar with the Dungeons & Dragons system, is the first roll is to attack. The second roll is for damage. It does kill you. The slashing scythe, which is in fact the arm of a blood reaper that was perched in the canopy above the doorway, just completely cuts you from bow to stern. The arm of this large creature just swooping down, unzipping you, and making your furry hide fall dead, oozing to the floor, rapidly leaking life, to the stunned horror of everyone in the chamber behind you. The Blood Reaper pounces down to the ground, and that's where you see it. Any viewers watching on Twitch right now can see the Blood Reaper depicted
Holy
in
shit.
a portrait window. It's a large creature, more sizable than probably anyone in play right now, and it has to hunch over to even be seen fully in the doorway, blended, camouflaged against the trees and bushes behind it. You can barely see it at all except for the gleam of its scythe-like arms, one of which is hooked into the body of the Slytherin, and it rapidly drags it back into the trees. The door slams.
Overachiever.
Let's try the other door.
So I'm dead?
You are dead, but don't worry. There's lots more characters to lots more characters in the lineup.
His body got dragged back into the room, right?
That's right.
Ah.
Remind me. I think you said you had 14 hit points.
10 hit points, actually. Yeah.
10 hit points. Oh yes. Well, you are definitely minus in the minus figures. Yes. So you may not be dead yet, but it won't be long. I don't think you're conscious for what happens next.
Yeah.
So, by all means, how are the other characters reacting to this? Beginning to wish they'd stayed in their prison?
Don't
He died the
stand
way
in front of doors.
He went the way he would have wanted to die. Quick and relatively painless.
Yes, I remember many a time when he was in the prison hoping that he got cut in half vertically by a Blood Reaper. So many times he told that tale.
Good to have goals, you know.
I remember it fondly.
Yeah.
This time he can't think about his actions afterwards.
How about we fasten a rope by the next door's handle and we stand 30 feet up? How far away can we stand? Potentially back in the cell, and we pull the rope open and we shoot at whatever comes inside.
Seems legit.
Good idea. I go up and first check the door with the black dot for traps.
Yeah. Do your wisdom roll, please.
Of course. That is a 14 wisdom roll.
You feel this door is completely safe. Although, of
Don't
course,
worry,
your
I've got
nerves
this.
tell you
I've got
otherwise.
this.
Guys, I have Mage Hand. I can do it as much as I want to.
Yes, but I'm not opening the door. I'm just tying the rope, and I start tying a long piece of rope that I have to the door, very carefully, not to open it or touch it with my bare hands, and then just scuttle back to the cell door. Okay, on the count of 3, I'm gonna pull open the door, and you guys rush whatever comes out of there. 1, 2, and I jank it before I get 3.
And
then I run into the cell.
On the other side of this door, there's actually very little that you can see. It's like in fact, it could constitute a wall on the other side of this door. It looks like stone or maybe coal. It's black earth at the very least, and it's pretty difficult to see, but there are holes about 2 foot by 2 foot, roughly circular at ground level, and another one at around head level that just sort of burrow into that mound of earth. These tunnels, you're not sure where they go, but at least they're not spitting death at you.
Yet.
That's peculiar.
Oh, who are you?
There's a like 5'10" bat person standing behind you, holding onto a stick, just kind of looking over your shoulder, or well, directly over you at that point.
Yeah. You, my friends, seem perfectly suited for this mission. We need someone to crawl into that hole. You're
I
just
don't
the
do
right
crawling.
size. Really?
No. Much better suited for other tasks.
Such as
not crawling.
all there.
We could draw straws or whatever's on the ground.
Could you stick the mage hand in there and just kind of see if anything happens? Just put it through the tunnels. Here you go.
There's something particularly daunting about the idea of crawling into the dark unknown, especially now that you know what's on the side of the other door. But you're not hearing anything from these holes, and you're certainly not seeing any movement.
Can we smell anything?
That's a good question, in fact. You take in a deep breath as you approach the holes. And yeah, there is a smell of not rotten meat, but stale skin and hair and leather. It's musty, it's old, it's like a gaming convention.
Ew.
As long
I
as
feel
it's
called out
familiar.
now.
Okay, can I prepare a bundle of sticks, a straws to draw, and just cheat so that one is much shorter than the others?
Yeah. What are you planning?
Well, I'm planning to not be the one to pull the longest straw, basically.
How dark is it in there?
If you have any kind of dark vision, you'd be able to see.
I have dark vision.
Low light.
I also have dark vision.
Yep.
As a bad person, I have dark vision, which physiologically we have a conversation about later. But by rules, I have dark vision.
I mean, I'll happily throw someone in there. Anyone game?
We halflings are really bad for
I
throwing.
think the one in the cell would really like to go in first.
The halfling will be the lightest.
I'm much heavier than I look. I mean, this is all Muscle. Muscle is much heavier than fat. You know that.
Good. Go use the muscle.
What about the straw thing? I thought the straw idea was really good. I have some straws here.
Is anyone interested in drawing straws? I'll
Is
draw
it-
one.
Is it the rule of shortest straw?
Yeah.
Because I see the shortest straw right there.
No.
Pointed
They're all
at
the moving them around in my hand.
All right, I'm gonna throw the halfling in.
No,
All right. I'll help you.
you'll pay for this.
As two people working in concert on this, I'm afraid I'm going to be a DM tyrant here and not allow the halfling to resist.
That's
which
fine.
hole do you stuff the halfling into? Is it the one at head height or the one at ground level? And what do you do to prevent him from just coming back out?
We'll put him in the head height, and
I'll produce flame and just kind of put fire at his ass.
I'm the only one that doesn't have dark vision.
Don't worry, the fire will help you see.
Oh my god.
What's your name, halfling?
Magwin.
Magwin. Okay, Magwin gets stuffed into the hole at head height. It's around 2 foot by 2 foot, so he can crawl along it pretty comfortably.
First thing I do is
but-
just sorry.
No. You tell me, what is the
Yeah.
first thing you do?
First thing I do is just shoot a bolt down this hole, see if I hit anything.
Okay, I'm going to make you roll your dexterity to attack, essentially.
All right, here we go.
Really looking for a high number here if you want any kind of good result.
That's a natural one.
You both hear and feel the string on your crossbow snap and lash back against your hand, drawing up a
Shit.
very quick welt and making it bleed. You drop your crossbow, and that's when you hear a that guy's were on what's that down there? There's someone down there. And this voice is echoing. In fact, there's several voices echoing. There's someone down there. Oh, we should bring him in here to play with us.
No one's down here.
Small like us. Must be small like us if he's in here with us. Maybe he knows how to work a pickaxe.
No. I don't even know what that is. I tried to crawl back.
Fire.
No.
You do another dexterity roll, please.
All right. That's better. That's 16.
16. Okay, in that case, you feel it's something smack against your foot and drag back, and it doesn't latch on to you. But something definitely just reached out for you in an attempt to pull you back, and your best bet is some kind of hook or net.
Oh my god. Let me out. There's something in here. I'm trying
Come in. You start hearing a rapid of feet.
Oh no. Oh no, let me out. I'm screaming at the people behind me.
What are the people behind him doing?
should we let him out?
Can you hear over the fire? Like, how's it going in there?
Not good.
I could stick in my javelin. He could grab onto it. We could try to pull him out. If we're nice, the blunt side.
Are you feeling nice? Is anyone in the main room feeling nice or not?
Well, as a
Drop the fire to let
veteran,
him
I
through.
would say strength in numbers, so I guess I'll be nice. I'll give him the nice side of the
I just
javelin.
grab onto it.
I say, I'm
Pull me
happy
out.
to let him out. I just don't have any control over this situation.
Okay, the javelin gets poked in and isn't the sharp end, so I'm not going to make you roll. And Magwin can grab hold of that and gets dragged along faster than he could crawl. But those patter of feet continues behind him. And as he emerges from the hole with a plop landing on the ground, an ugly purple warted face emerges briefly to look into the armory around you. It's some kind of goblinoid, you think, some kind of goblin. You're not sure what, but by all means, anyone with a high intelligence can roll their intelligence to identify it.
I will do that.
My intelligence is not high.
Got a -1.
Ooh.
Me too.
Wait a minute.
What did you get?
Oh, I have +2.
I rolled a 5.
I got 16.
16. You think you've heard of these creatures before. Coal goblins, definitely Titan spawn, still in service to Titans, and they tend to cluster in nests of very many of them. You've never actually been to a coal goblin nest before, but they're all worshippers of Belsameth as a general rule, and they believe in murder and wealth, as most followers of Belsameth enjoyably do. It sticks its face out. Its eyes widen as it grows used to the dim light of the armory. Obviously, it's not going to have much time before one of you tries to hack its head off. And it puts its hands up. Ah! What are you going to do?
As soon as the halfling made his way out, the panicked short person that he is, Fane would take his staff and just smack it at the end of the hole that he just crawled out of. I'm gonna throw Thunder Wave down that condensed hallway. Just
do it.
a little echo chamber.
Yeah, I believe that comes with a damage roll. If you have the spell to hand. If not, I can tell you what it does.
It is 2d8 thunder damage, and if they fail, a Constitution save.
Wonderful. He definitely fails.
That is the glorious average of 8.
8.
And they are also pushed 10 feet away.
No sooner does the coal goblin's face emerge from the hole, but it gets popped back in by the burst of thunder. And I would say that environmentally, this creates something of a ripple effect throughout the coal mine that seems to exist within this dungeon. Bouncing off the walls, you hear a flurry of screams and even some light popping, which for a second you wonder whether that's eardrums just bursting, being exposed to this low-level spell in such tight quarters. After the thunder ripples away, all you can hear is moaning and crying in pain.
Is it dead?
I think you just pissed it off.
Let's kill it.
Well, I did my part. Maybe you should contribute.
Can I spot it still in the tunnel?
You can see its feet.
All right. Well, my hand crossbow's string has been snapped, but I'm firing with my light crossbow at his feet.
As he's gonna start a soliloquy.
Yes,
that is fill in the blank.
Oh my gosh, that's 14.
14. Okay. Yeah. You hit him with your with a crossbow bolt.
For 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay, that plus the damage from the thunder wave. The crossbow bolt goes up into his abdomen, and the coal goblin writhes no more.
Yes. A high five the druid, wizard, sorcerer.
No time for high fives. I jump in the other tunnel.
You go in the ground level tunnel. Okay, tell us again. What's the name of your character?
My character's name is Kezi Sheena. She's a Manticora war veteran.
Ah, yes, Scrappy. I remember.
Very scrappy.
As
Tired
the
of
Manta-
waiting.
As the Manticora climbs in valiantly, foolishly, one could argue, but makes good progress. The expanse of this coal mine becomes known to you. There's hundreds of small tunnels, some you couldn't fit down, some you almost definitely could. They widen out for you. You find a chamber that's suitably sized for you to even stand in. And this is where you find the coal goblin nest, lots of small thatches of sticks and twigs and bones, and your average goblin civilization. As you take a look around, you of course see, at first you think it's 3 pairs of eyes. No, there's more and more eyes opening in this village as goblins are emerging from their brush roofs and moving them off their heads. They were sleeping until some idiot shot a thunder wave down into their home. They
Idiots
all
that way, by the way, if you guys want to deal with that.
the one you can only assume is the coal goblin chief by the fact that he has 3 skulls stacked up on his own head. Like a multiple Mario Kart championship winner. He sends out the signal and his warriors dive down from their own little nests and charge at you. Could you make a dexterity roll, please? Or are you going to hold your ground?
My pride says yes, but my time says no.
Okay, well, they're going to, they're not just charging at you with blades, they're shooting at you with ranged weapons.
Okay.
And what's your armor class?
13.
Okay, and so I'm going to make a few rolls here. 13, you say?
For now.
Okay, that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be 3 hits. As a few of the coal goblins charge at you with blades brandished, the ones hiding in their holes with their crossbows have taken aim and shot at you. And you don't even get to really die in valiant battle as blades pierce your skin. That doesn't happen while you're still alive. Instead, from multiple situations across this mine, goblins just riddling you with crossbow bolts like some kind of awful target practice. And you spin, you flail with your weapon in hand. You're not even sure where you're being shot from as bolts penetrate your chest, your stomach, your thigh, and then your face. And then the coal goblins reach you with their blades and start hacking into you.
Don't go this way, guys.
I just quietly closed the door.
Glad I could contribute. I'm sorry I have to run. This is so much fun. I hope you guys die valiantly.
Bye. Thank you for dying for us.
No problem. Have fun.
Thank you very much for playing. We still have the head height tunnel, of course, which seemed a lot slimmer and in which you had disabled the coal goblins, or you could go back the other way and back into the forest.
Would I even be able to fit in there as an ironbred?
You could, but it would be slow moving.
Feeling like I have to go through the other door if I want to be able to have a fighting chance. Anyone want to come with me?
Sure. I'll be right behind you. I just need to restring my crossbow.
There is a
Oh no.
there is a school of thought among some of the prisoners that the only way you're going to be able to get past this Blood Reaper is if multiple of you enter the room at once. For as long as you are going in one at a time, you are easy pickings.
So does everybody want to run in all at once and hope for the best? I mean, Halfling, you got a pretty good shot since you're so small.
You know, you make a really good argument. Why not? Carpe diem, as they say. I steel myself to run in next to this iron
Bread,
bread.
like a horse.
Yes, sorry.
So you are both going for the back for the forest.
Yeah, just
We should
gonna
recruit more
run.
people to come with us, though.
Yeah. Come
Yeah,
on.
you've still around
Who's
20
watching?
prisoners.
It's
As
either
another iron bread, the tunnels will probably not help me either.
it's either dying in here or out there. Where do you want to die?
Whatever gives me the best view of you dying first.
Can I intimidate people to come?
Yeah, definitely. Roll your charisma or your strength. Up to you.
I get an extra 4 on my intimidation, so I got a 23.
Okay, people feel confident in following the iron bread, or rather, they feel the iron bread's going to start taking heads if they don't back the iron bread. So the door is flung open to the blood red forest, and you go charging in with 20 or so prisoners at your back, some hanging back, quite hoping that sacrifices will fall early. It's very much entering the long grass and hoping the raptors don't get you, because there's just not enough raptors. I would like for, let's see, I'm gonna be mean here. Mean, me.
As a DM, that
Dennis.
is your prerogative.
Yes.
Tell us again, what are you playing?
I am playing an Ironbred cleric who has 5 small children who will be very sad if their father is killed by a blood reaper in a orange forest, and also is 3 days away from retirement with full pension.
Yeah, that's a shame about that. The body of your former companion that was dragged in here before the Slytherin lands at your feet as you see your colleagues ahead of you, your peers ahead of you, climbing through this brush and twine with a thwack. It's as if all the blood has been drained from the Slytherin. The little bit of skin you can see of it is awful and pale, and the bloody gash that was down its front is no longer showing the marks of having bled. Something has been feeding well, and as that momentarily distracts you, could you do a dexterity roll, please?
Sure. That is a 4.
Oh,
Oof.
so
With
the
a
blood
+2 modifier. That is a 4.
Wow. Yeah, that's so the Blood
Yeah.
Reaper, which is around the same size as you, comes down from the brush above you and lands on you. Lands on your shoulders and brings you down to the ground prone with its scythe arms on either side. Travis, please feel free to put the Blood Reaper back up in the portrait gallery. Those of you nearby can see that this has just happened to the Ironbred, who is 3 days away from retirement and is now on the way to the glue factory. Is anyone going to intervene, or are you going to use this distraction to escape?
We will never forget your sacrifice.
Using it. Bye.
Bye.
Phil has rejoined us, of course. Who are you playing now, Phil?
All right. I am playing Rab Mumba, who is an Asathi, I think.
A snake person.
Snake person, so like he's very quite thin and gaunt looking. Not very strong. Doesn't have a lot of muscle on him, and he's more of a think first, caution type than rather than rush in first. He's a bard.
Okay, well, now that Rab is here and hasn't been interacting much with the other prisoners, been watching cautiously, Rab is the closest to the Ironbred, who has just been collapsed onto the ground and seems to be at risk of decapitation from Blood
Save your
Reaper.
healer.
How is Rab going to act?
So he sees this happen in front of him, and he yes, he uses his cure wounds on. Sorry, Dennis, what's your character's name?
Greenstone.
Greenstone. Well,
Greenstone.
hold that thought, because he's not lost any health yet, but
Oh, has he not?
we'll now see how much he does lose. What's Greenstone's armor class?
17.
17. Well, first attack of the day that's unsuccessful. Well, other than the broken crossbow bolt. The Blood Reaper swings its blade, one of its blades, and the Ironbred manages to shift its head just slightly to the side and just gets a gentle nick across the face, not enough to harm it. Now, the Blood Reaper does get 2 attacks because it's got a scythe on either arm. The second one is likewise unsuccessful. So this Ironbred could survive. After all, 5 kids to feed and 3 days away from retirement. That's a lot to live for. The rest of the group have got 2 options. They've reached the other end of this long red forest, and there are 2 doors. One bears the symbol of a flame. The other bears the symbol of a mountain. Are they going to go charging on through?
Mountain door, heading straight in.
Okay, the door swings open and you find yourself in a room that seems impossibly tall, filled with a grey, cavernous mountain. It almost seems to be opulescent. There's what look like gemstones, orbs, and all kinds of weird and wonderful accoutrements attached to this mountain. But it appears that you can't see any doors around it. You may have to climb over it to get to a door on the other side. So as you're preparing your climbing gear, we'll go back to Rab and the Ironbred. Rab, you didn't need to use your spell. You can see the rest of the prisoners charging in through the mountain door.
Actually,
You could get there now. Or you could try tackling the Blood Reaper off of the Ironbred.
Yep. So I think it's Greenstone, isn't it? I look at him. I look at the door and where all the other prisoners are going. I look at him. Thinks about it for a second. Casts vicious mockery on the Blood Reaper.
Okay. Tell us what vicious mockery is going to do here.
Okay, so a wisdom saving throw from the Blood Reaper. Fails, takes 1d4 psychic damage. It's a DC of 12.
It does fail the wisdom roll.
Yes.
So what does your vicious mockery go like? As you're basically singing it at him. You can see the Blood Reaper there on the Twitch channel, I hope. So what would you mock about that appearance?
My dead grandmother looks better than you do.
The Blood Reaper is cut to the core by your incisive commentary. Okay. And it staggers off of Greenstone, contemplating its poor appearance. It's been stuck in this dungeon for as long as you have, maybe longer. It's long enough for Greenstone to get to his hooves.
Okay, so that'll be 3 psychic damage.
Okay, only 135 hit points left. Probably worth running at this point.
And he has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Wonderful.
Bane was not charging so much. He was kind of hanging back in the in-between to see how things were going on either end. So as this whole thing unfolds, to kind of make sure that the Blood Reaper wasn't going to be following anybody, I'm going to put Entangle underneath all of them.
Oh, underneath all of them.
Yeah, this is why I should never play Druids. Neutral does not play well with me. So it's a 20-foot square of grasping vines that makes it difficult terrain, and they have to make a strength check to get out of it.
Okay, we will all make a strength check, please. So that'll be Greenstone, Rab, and the Reaper. What's the difficulty check? I rolled a 10.
Ooh, my spell save DC is actually 1 second. My spell save DC is a 12.
12. Okay. Did anyone succeed?
I did.
Yes, I did.
See, it all
Well,
worked out.
I think, yeah, I'm sure that was the plan all along.
Good job.
So
Have
yeah,
faith in
you're
you.
all able to make it to the mountain door. You can probably deal with the druid once you're through it.
Nice rhyme.
Does everyone run, or is anyone continuing to engage this monster?
Now is the time to be hauling all the ass.
Yep,
Okay.
I pick up and haul.
Okay, so you all make it to this mountain. Some prisoners are already climbing up it. It's an enormous grey figure in this mountain room, or grey mountain, I should say. Looks pebbled. It's 20 feet or more in diameter, you think. So it's large for a room, but it's mountain shaped. It's not an actual mountain. Looks like it's made out of a combination of rock and sand and a few curious gems embedded. Everyone just going to start climbing?
Mm-hmm.
I've traveled many sand dunes in my day because I am a sand dune traveler. So this is right at home for me. It's probably being pretty easy for me to travel here. And I will leave everyone in my dust if I have to.
Okay. and what is
just start flying and hovering up, keeping pace the entire time. Really doing great. You're fantastic.
Yeah, the flight is definitely worthwhile. Who is climbing? Just a brief show of voices.
Yep, I am.
Yeah, when I get there. After
Yeah.
them.
Yep,
Mhm.
I will too.
It's our flying bat person. And could you repeat your character's name?
Fane.
It's Thane, yes, who is able to see the ripples of motion on the mountain's surface as the prisoners are hastily climbing up its surface. The ripples don't start near the heroes, the prisoners, but they get closer and closer, and suddenly those opal-like gems start blinking. You start to realize that this entire mountain could be alive, and judging from the ripples of motion, it could be one massive ooze. Could everyone on the stone builder ooze's surface it's going to be the roll of the night. Make a dexterity roll, please.
You got it. That is 17.
We're going for a difficulty check of 16.
13.
I fail.
14 fail.
Oh,
17. Yeah.
Okay, so anyone who failed, you rapidly feel the acid touch of the ooze's pseudopods just gripping you and pulling you into its flesh. The rest of you were able to move up fast, much like our brave companion mentioned, traveling sand dunes. If you keep moving, you might be all right. But those of you who failed get badly burned, and I'm going to tell you how badly.
Oh my god.
Now, that could be a lot worse. Those of you who are being burned are each dealt 4 acid damage.
Ooh.
Just by being in contact with it. However, you are now at risk of being engulfed. Those of you who succeeded, are you just going to keep moving, or are you going to try and help your friends who are getting stuck? Okay, as there's no heroics here, I'm not hearing anyone saying they're going to help the companions. You keep moving. That means I'm going to ask for another attempt, another dexterity roll for the people that failed.
Oh, for the people who failed. Okay.
Nat 20.
Oh,
17.
20. Wow. Okay. You managed to wrench yourself free, which means you lose some skin as you do so. Each of you. Natural 20, you're not going to lose anything for this, but on a 17, you are going to lose another 4 hit points as you lose a chunk of skin and meat that you see rapidly get absorbed into this ooze that shakes and roils and starts making burping noises around you. The entire ground beneath you is hungry. Some of you have reached the peak of the stone builder ooze at this point. The only way is down.
just sliding down.
Whee!
Or rolling or crashing.
Yeah.
The stone builder isn't interested in losing its meal, and so it's going to make it can actually make a slam attack, a multi-attack of slam attacks on anything that is against it. 2 slam attacks per turn. So I think it's going to target the 2 people that failed before because it's vindictive like that. And could I get your armor classes, please?
17.
And
17 is a good armor class.
Yeah, 15 for me.
15. And Ali, you failed before. What was your what's your armor class?
A 15 as well.
15. Okay. So Ali, unfortunately, one of the multi attacks, one of the slam attacks, gets through to you. Just as you cusp the peak of this stone builder ooze, a lump of it that could be mistaken for a boulder just lurches over towards you and smacks you, and you're rolling in the right direction towards the exit, but almost a ledge just curves up to capture you as you roll into it, and you batter yourself against it. It's going to deal 2d8 plus 7 damage with the slam attack, which is the equivalent of being battered by a massive rock to the head, and you will lose 11 points of damage. Are you still alive?
Nope.
No.
So as the stone builder smashes into you, you're semi-conscious as you find yourself pouring into this maw that closes around you, and anyone who was keeping an
I do
eye
have a
on.
question. Can I use
Yes.
shield at any point? It's a reaction.
Yeah. Tell us what that does.
I will have to look it up.
Well, as you're looking that up to see whether that does negate the damage, the rest of you who are trying to climb down, I'm going to ask you to do a dexterity roll. Again, Thane, flying around, is laughing at this point if he's evil. Otherwise, he's very concerned but not willing to sacrifice himself for the rest.
So it gives me +5 bonus to AC. I don't know what that is. Sorry.
So that's your armor class. Sadly, that wouldn't have prevented you from being killed here.
All right,
Uh,
I'm dead.
Yeah, attack
Oh,
roll
no.
was. To get into the mechanics, it has a +11 to hit, and it definitely hit you very hard. And don't worry, no one else is exempt. So we're looking for dexterity rolls against a DC of 16.
Whoever seems to be struggling the most, Fane's going to be very supportive and give his honest, college try cheers.
You got
from
this. I believe in
The
you.
area nearby. I have guidance, so you get
Stand
a
tall.
D4 added to your. Basically, I have the guidance cantrip, so it adds a D4 to your D20 for the dex save.
I
Excellent.
rolled. I rolled a 15, so that's one below.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
I rolled,
God.
Yeah,
rolled a
that's not good.
19.
Oh.
I rolled a 19.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been friends. I always listen to your stories.
Is Chris going to be receiving salvation here, or is the guidance going to be wasted on poor Dennis?
Oh, he'll give it to the halfling. He gave him shit before.
Thank you. That's 4. So that's 19.
Yeah. So those of you who succeed manage to make it down to the other side of the stone builder without further harm. Unfortunately, Dennis, tell us again a little about your character. With how many days until retirement?
3 days until retirement with full pension, and 5 children, one of whom has a limb. A limb.
No. It
I
should have
know,
been me.
And that's what Greenstone is saying. It should have been you. As he's being burnt to death by the stone builder's acid. 9 acid damage to Greenstone as he sinks into a pool that opens up around him. Is Greenstone still alive after this?
Just barely.
Oh, wow. Okay, you lurch like the poor bastard out of the end of RoboCop, who has just had a toxic vat spilled all over him. And no, he's not dead. Not dead. Not quite. And yeah, you're crawling down the side of the stone builder. Kill me.
Oh my God.
Fane would throw him a rope, but not like holding on to one end. Literally, just throw a whole roll of rope at him. Just keep flying away.
End his suffering.
Could you do a dexterity roll, please? Thing.
Nev helps those who help themselves.
Actually, I'll ask you to a strength roll, please. Oh, you appear to be muted.
Give him the guidance again. So.
I'm sorry, was it me or him?
I needed a strength roll from Thane.
Oh, from me. Okay.
As the coil of rope hurtles down.
That would be a 17.
Wow, okay. Could you roll 1d4, please?
2.
So Greenstone is dealt 2 points of bludgeoning damage from the coil of rope that smacks into his head.
No.
Is Greenstone still alive?
1 hit point left.
Oh, what? Okay, Greenstone
He's trying his hardest.
I'm helping.
It's the other end of this room. I'm not going to kill you if you've only got 1 hit point left. That's perseverance. You are there, dripping flesh, concussed from a heavy rope smacking into your skull, and staggering into one of 2 doors at the other end of this room. The lurching ooze mountain is about to come crashing down on all the prisoners on the other side of it, so you're going to have to make your mind up quickly. There's one that has what appears to be a carving of a lake surrounded by beautiful little trees, and another that appears to be a carving of a forge. Which are the prisoners going to dart into?
The lake.
Lake.
And Ali,
Lake.
who are you playing as now?
So I am Jahira. I am a ranger and a drifter / marsh roamer. So the lake sounds much better for me.
Okay.
I'll also cast Cure Wounds on my Iron Forge, is it?
Iron bread.
Iron Bread on Greenstone, giving him.
Much appreciated.
I'll not be doing this for too much longer, so watch yourself this time. That would be only 4 hit points, sorry.
You take
Okay,
another
you
rope
open
to the face.
Same.
Yeah, you won't survive another rope. You open the door and find yourself facing a room.
I also
that,
restore 4 hit points to myself.
You find yourself in a room that immediately dips into a trench of water, which seems to deepen as you enter it. All the way on the other side of the room is a ledge with another couple of doors. The room is roughly bowl shaped, you think, and there's lots of plants growing out of the water. You can't see that they're growing from earth. They appear to be growing from the stone underneath you. And there's lots of motion in the water, but you can't see any creatures in there. There's just permanent ripples. But compared to the room behind you, it looks positively placid. You are aware that a mountain is going to come crashing down on all of you, so getting into this room is probably a point of some. This lovely, pleasant pool seems, far preferable to hanging back.
Yeah. Who's going to go first? Definitely not me.
I'm
Okay.
going right in.
Any hesitation may see you killed.
Yeah, I'm going right in.
All right, I follow.
I'll be staying above.
You swoop in through the doorway and stay above the water level, brushing against some of those plants that are just growing up through the water and into the air above it. As the rest of you go wading in, you hear a crash behind you as the mountain connects with the ground and blocks your way of retreat, which may be quite unfortunate for you. I would like for someone to do a wisdom roll, please.
I'll do one, being a wisdom person.
Mm-hmm.
A wisdom bet person. That is a 15.
15. As ever, it seems that from your vantage point up above, you have the best sight of all. This room is unlike the others, not dimly lit orange, it's dimly lit blue, but you're able to see the wriggling white sour grubs, tiny creatures just winding their way through the pool and towards the wading prisoners who are desperate to get to the other side. Just hundreds of these tiny little worms with champing maws that you can't identify from as high up as you are, but the sour grubs are unmistakable in the way that they are attracted to blood, and Greenstone is leaking a lot of blood. Do you call out to let them know the danger?
I'd go faster if I were you.
What? Why?
Trust me, I've never given you a reason to not listen to what I have to
I
say.
think of several. But I hurry up.
I hurry up.
Greenstone, could you make a Constitution saving throw, please?
Probably not, but we'll see what
Sweet, lovable greenstone survived this.
Oh.
And Rab, what is your armor class?
My armor class was 15.
Nat
15.
Nice use of the
Oh.
past tense.
It was.
Dennis, what did you roll?
A nat 1.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to you in a minute.
Greenstone.
Okay. Both Rab and Greenstone feel a sudden shudder of paralysis run up their spine as tiny sour grubs just clamp onto them, manage to wind their way through their armor, underneath their skin, and clamp those tiny needle-like teeth into their flesh. Your Constitution saving throws as failures basically paralyze you until the end of the next turn. But in that next turn, how sour grubs operate is thousands of them will congregate on paralyzed prey. And so that's exactly what they're doing. Some of you notice that both Rab and Greenstone have frozen in place. Anyone attempting to help?
No.
Nope.
Again, silence came, the deafening response.
Listen, the real victim of this whole travesty is Fane, as he has had to watch so much death.
Poor Fane.
Yeah. All that scrubbing of the eyes just won't help. Okay, as everyone wades their way towards the next door across, we're going to see how much damage these sour grubs are actually doing to poor Greenstone and Rab. I say thousands, that's what it feels like. It isn't actually going to be that many, but it's still going to be quite a lot of damage. Okay. Rab, can you endure 10 hit points worth of damage?
No, I am down.
No?
It's another one.
Rab is dragged beneath the surface in a sudden fountain of blood billowing up in bubbles from this previously serene-looking pool. Greenstone, meanwhile, can you survive 5 hit points worth of damage?
Thanks to the 2 cure wounds, yes.
Yes.
Yes. As the sour grubs clamp onto you and you can still feel them gnawing away, the paralysis ends, allowing you to wade forward. You see Rab get dragged down. Are you going to try and save Rab, or are you going to make your way towards the door and think, fuck this?
I will cast Healing Word on him and run.
What is your healing word?
Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
He's gone.
Okay, tell us, what does healing word achieve? Nothing. Unfortunately, Rab is dead. So you make a nice peaceful word in this mire of hell, but it's sadly insufficient. The first to the other side of the pool is Chris, your character. Could you give us his name again?
Megwin.
Magwin.
Sorry.
Magwin the Halfling, yes. Magwin the Halfling, out of breath almost, seeing other prisoners, of course, nameless extras being taken down by these sour grubs as well.
When will this
all of
senseless
this,
killing
by the way,
end?
All of this available, by the way, in the Creature Collection, currently on Kickstarter. If you haven't backed it, you don't have long left to do so. All this fun could be yours. It's up to Magwin to choose which room you go into next.
Ooh.
Or Rab. But Greenstone lives. You have 2 symbols. You have a sun, and you have a swirl of wind.
I would go for the sun. I've had enough of water and other elements. I need some warm sunlight.
Fane will follow him.
Okay, so Magwin's opening the door, the sun door.
And just rushing in.
Okay. You find yourself in a sandy landscape. Well, it's not much of a landscape. It's a long corridor, wide enough for three of you to walk abreast, but there's sand all along the floor, and there's a beating magical sun. In fact, two of them, one at either end of this corridor. They're just sort of glowing and thrumming there. The ceiling is vaulted. It's really quite beautiful architecture, not that you have much time to admire the construction of this place. You can see a figure on four legs halfway down the corridor. It's
Friend or
a
foe?
camel.
What?
It's a camel.
Huh. A camel. A mount. I try to get its attention and I run towards it.
Please no.
Greenstone, you can barely talk.
Are familiar faces.
Take us out of here, camel. Save us.
It appears to be chewing on some brush that's growing out through the sand, and as you start ranting and raving at the camel, which you see is adorned with a beautiful cloak over its back, the sage camel stops chewing and
Hello.
spits out all of cud.
At me?
No, just at your feet.
Okay.
And what are you doing here?
Trying to get out of this horrible dungeon of death.
Well, I suggest this is the wrong way if you want to avoid death. I've been here for many, many years, and I have not found a route yet that avoids death.
Well, what would
I am a
be...
sage camel. I can dispense advice for a cost.
how much for advice?
That's a nice array of weaponry that you have on you. If you place it down on the sand, prove that you mean me no harm, I can provide you with advice.
Absolutely. I put my weapons down on the sand and I'm just, give me your advice.
Your weapons disappear into the sand. It consumes them. And the sage stares at you dimly. There is only one way out of this dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And I dare say that you will never reach it. However, I will tell you this. At the end of this corridor, as with many others, are two doors. One bears the symbol of an oasis. The other bears the symbol of a snake. Neither truly indicates what is behind either. But I would suggest that if you want a, shall we say, straight-up fight, you will go for the oasis. If you would rather rely on your wits and dexterity to allow you to survive, go for the snake.
Snake, gotcha. Thank you very much.
However, if you wish to go back the other way, it spits again. Back into the water. The wind room. If you stay low to the ground, and there are enough of you in there, I suggest only 3 or 4 of you might die.
That's good odds. I kind of dash back to the others and retell what the camel just told me.
This is a brief moment of respite as the prisoners all congregate in this long corridor and the camel is getting increasingly agitated. It speaks up. If you occupy this space for too long, the sands will consume you as well. They are my sands.
Let's go back and go through the other door.
Yep, wind room sounds fine to me.
All right.
But no, I vote for the snake door. It sounds like we had, a plan for that. The other one sounds like we're designed to die in.
I wagered you only say that because you want to fly through the room and not get attacked by anything.
That has nothing to do.
Has everything to do with it.
Why would you ever imply such a thing?
What do you two think?
Sylvester Stallone.
It's a great point. He made an excellent point. I'm pretty sure he said wind.
Yeah, I think he said wind too.
Well, it appears you've been outvoted because the majority of the prisoners are heading back. The camel rolls its eyes. At least 4 will die. Possibly 10. As the door closes, you enter back into the pool room. Whatever sign of Rab there once was in this chamber is now gone. The foaming pink and red is disappeared. The sour grubs ate well in here. You find the next door marked with the wind symbol, and it's rattling in its frame.
After you?
I blame you.
I can live with that.
I'll open it and drop to the ground real quick. So whoever's behind me.
Yeah,
in front of the door.
Greenstone is directly behind you.
Oh no. Greenstone.
No, I'm not. I am 30 doors.
You're back in the water. I wouldn't recommend that. As Ali's character dives to the ground, the wind buffets Greenstone in the face, and his horse-like jowls jiggle back and forth around his teeth, flaying a little more of the skin. This is intensified, this searing wind, by the swirling circular blades like shurikens that just shoot out of the door. Finally, there is a vent for them to escape. Greenstone, your armor class is 17, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. So you never know. You might survive this one. You've done pretty well so far with barbed world. Well, with other attacks. Well, I say pretty well.
No, let's go through the wind door. Yeah, the wind door sounds great.
The first one misses. It makes 3 attacks on its multi-attack, I should note. So the first one just goes straight past you and embeds in the far wall.
Hindsight is 20/20.
The second one also misses, goes straight over your shoulder and embeds itself in one of the green plants growing from the pool. Greenstone may yet survive.
Come on.
The third one hits you.
No.
And yeah, I know. I'm actually disappointed by that. And deals 13 points of damage.
Yeah, no.
Oh no.
As Greenstone is our longest surviving character, I will allow you to describe how the searing wind, the barbed wheel of the searing wind, kills Greenstone.
It oddly embeds itself in the floor right on him and just grinds him away one layer at a time into nothing.
Oh no.
Oh.
Greenstone.
No.
I will take care of your children.
He has a
And your
cough.
retirement fund.
You're saying this to the slowly flayed Greenstone. The
If I find
whipping
them.
and the whipping and whizzing and whirling of the searing wind within this room has not abated. You don't know how many of these huge pinwheels are within. Only 3 have escaped so far, and you're not even sure whether they are sentient enough to return. If they are, you could have enemies at your back as well. Are you going to enter, or are you rethinking your course?
Yeah, we're crawling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Army
keep
crawl.
low to the ground. My most hated
Alright.
place.
All right, guys. With that, I need to bow out. Thanks for gaming with me. Catch you guys.
Thanks for
Thank
playing
you
with
very
us.
much, Phil. It's been a pleasure. You
Cheers.
died valiantly.
Many
Twice.
times.
Oh my god.
You crawl along the floor, able to hear and indeed feel the metal whizzing above you, occasionally nicking your clothing, your armor, your skin, your hair, just cutting through you, but not close enough to embed itself in you. The room itself is like a massive wind tunnel, as we would consider it in this day and age in our world, where the floor is curved upwards, it's tiled, and likewise on the ceiling. You assume the corridor lasts as long as the one with the sage camel in, which is pretty damn long, and so you're belly crawling your way along. Could I get a dexterity roll from each of you, please? I see our images have shifted windows. This is what the searing wind does. It cuts us all into pieces.
16.
22. I feel good about this. Ooh.
A
We
21.
got a 16 and we got a 22. What else do we have?
A 21. I actually rolled a 19 on that.
21.
Nice.
Wow, okay,
Nice.
that's some good rolls. I think Travis is now playing with us, so he's filling in the last gap for some of the last fatalities in this game. Did anyone get, let's see, did anyone get less than 14 on this one? No, I'm not hearing it. So, okay. I'm going to allow Travis to shift windows around a little because the Twitch is looking a little funny. But I'll narrate what's going on while I do. The solid snake crawling on their bellies towards the exit on the other side of this corridor is slow but inexorable. The searing wind above them not getting close enough to the floor to cut anyone important, anyway, in half. Each of you able to evade it by just pressing as close to the floor as possible, becoming tiles, if such a thing is possible. You reach the other end, and that's when you realize you're not going to be able to open either of the doors in this corridor without standing up. One of you is going to have to stand up to open the door, unless you have a mage hand spell that will do it for you.
I'll do it. Unless someone has a mage hand, because then I'm not doing it.
Someone
I
did.
could poke it with my staff.
Try that.
You're going to have to turn the handle to open the door.
Can I wrap a net around it and then pull?
Yes.
From your prone position on the floor, you can give it a go. Do a dexterity roll, please.
Okay. Oh, it's not going to be good. 7.
7. Okay, as I'm feeling brutal, you throw the net up, and as your arm leaves the ground, what's your armor class? Your AC?
My armor class is 14.
14. Wonderful. For me, anyway.
Oh no.
What's your hit points?
20.
20. Okay, you lose half your hit points, as that's essentially a bloody attack when you lose half your hit points. Your arm is neatly severed at the elbow as you throw the net. The net does loop around the handle of the door, but unfortunately you've lost the arm.
Oh, good.
I've got this.
I didn't need that anyway.
Grab for the net and try to pull it.
If I may, Matthew,
Mm-hmm.
from behind and from a prone position on the floor, my creeping Drundali elf casts Mage Hand and flips the thingy that needs to be flipped.
I'm gonna take my severed arm and throw it at him.
5 seconds ago.
Can I catch it with the Mage Hand?
No, the Mage Hand is being used on the handle. So as you make the incantation for the Mage Hand, Ali, tell us again, what was the name of your character?
My name is Jathira.
Jathira. Could you make a dexterity roll, Jathira? I'm going to apply a penalty here.
Got a nat one.
4.
Oh no.
So as you throw your arm in a fit of mania, I think it's the only way it can really be described. The searing wind whirls back around and cuts off your other arm.
No. Tis but a scratch.
It actually deals you 11 damage. So
I don't make that one.
No.
Oh my god.
Both limbs cut off. The arm never hits its target, unfortunately. It just flops to the ground, ineffective.
Anyone behind me has to crawl over my dead body.
That's your last.
If I have
a 15 to disassociate.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
The door has been. You didn't actually even get to check the symbol on this door before you opened the handle, but it had a moon on it. And as you open the door to the moon room, you see before you a white and grey surface. Unlike this floor, which is curved upwards, this one is curved down at a slight incline, and you can't see the edges of this room from where you are right now. It's quite cosmic in its appearance. Is everyone just going to belly crawl their way in?
Yes.
You're a bit surprised there isn't another door, because everywhere else there's been 2 doors. Maybe this signifies that you're near the end of the dungeon.
I am gonna filch one of Allie's arms and just wave it at the halfling and say I was gonna give it back to her.
I didn't even know her. It's fine.
Fane will roll the body in first.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it kind of tumble down the little
Smart.
incline.
Still having some use in death.
You all successfully make your way into the moon room. It isn't just a flat, dull, lifeless surface. There's all kinds of rocky outcroppings, small cliff edges, boulders, stalagmites and stalactites that are larger than any human, but it's got that sort of, again, pockmarked, cratered feel of a moon, an orbital body. There's no sound here, and no ambient light other than the surface itself, which just lets off a dull grey, allowing you to see in low light vision everything around you. Any humans or other races that lack low light vision are really struggling to see out here. You certainly can't see any doors. You're wondering if you've been transported to another plane. Now, I'm aware, by the way, just as a brief interruption, some people have really been sticking with this in viewing, so thank you very much, everyone who has been watching this. For anyone who came in late, we are using the Scarred Lands Player's Guide as a setting, although this is very loosely what you'd find in the Player's Guide, but a lot of what's in there inspires this. Most appropriately, or the strongest linkage in this game is to the creature collection, which is currently on Kickstarter. Less than 48 hours to go to back that book. All of the monsters and awful critters that have appeared in this scenario so far are from the creature collection. So please do give it a look. We're playing this to draw more attention to a fantastic book, which is already 300% funded. But with all the additional funding it gets, more monsters get added. So, you're on the moon's surface. Are you standing up, or are you too paranoid to get off your bellies?
Can I cast False Life from a prone position?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would like to do that. I will take that 8 temporary hit points.
Oh my god.
I'll have a fatal rollover, and in kind of an arcing lob, take out a short bow and fire a single arrow into the air. See what happens.
You hear it connect. So just as there are, as I say, the stalagmites coming down from somewhere, you can't see the ceiling, but you hear it connect with stone.
I'll stand up and kind of get a surveil of the room with a little bit more height than everyone else.
Quick question. While he's doing that,
Yes.
Is Allie's previous character's corpse close enough for me to get to?
Close enough for anyone to interact with, should you wish to.
I would like to cast Animate Undead Minion on her corpse, please.
Travis is playing a corpse botherer.
Although this is not traumatizing at all.
Now,
You're
to
welcome.
be fair, our halfling has done very well to survive this long.
It's true.
I'll stand up and walk. I'm clearly chosen by the gods at this point, so
I'll just hide behind my puppet and crawl.
So it's Thane in the sky, isn't it? Well, in the air, taking an aerial view of things.
That he is.
Could you do a wisdom roll, please?
That I can. Would this be perception?
So if you have perception, please add it.
Suddenly, you notice a snake person.
A whopping 11.
Well, I will roll to contest it. Okay. So, because you know the GM's rolling something's here, but you knew that anyway. Unfortunately, Thane is unable to see or hear anything, even with his excellent bat-like senses.
Everything's
so-
good. Keep going.
you got it.
Well, if the bat says it's fine, I'll stand up and I'll just put my hands on the armless corpse's shoulders and sort of walk behind it.
Okay, I'm going to do a roll call here. So character names again. We have Magwin, the halfling.
Yep.
We have Thane in flight. Who else do we have?
I am Zolara, the Drendali necromancer.
Okay.
I'm Gugon, and I'm a barbarian drifter.
Gone.
I am Kirtenta, the Asathi fighter.
Yes. So, Magwin, Gugon, and indeed our Asathi, who are currently lack an undead minion in front of them, or indeed flight. Here, well, feel, I think, is a better way of putting it. Hot breath on their faces or their necks, as if something large and lumbering has somehow been able to either materialize behind them, in front of them, or just be incredibly effective at sneaking in low light.
As an aggressive orc, I'm just going to start swinging my battle axe.
That is the right thing to do. And the monsters on the rocks around you start whooping and hollering and letting out horrifying battle cries, baring their teeth and exposing their lengthy tongues. The Gugon the orc, that's correct, isn't it?
Yes.
Swings out with a battle axe. I'm going to allow you the surprise attack, the attack of opportunity. They were about to start rending, but I'm going to let you take a hit. Well, take the hit against the monster, so go for it.
So I just roll a d20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly the biggest threat in the room. Everyone should be going for the orc.
Well, I got a 3, but I get, for my battle axe, it gets +6, so it's a 9.
A 9. You have all the... your gusto is to be appreciated, I think. That's the best way I can put it. I think everyone can give a slight round of applause to the orc for giving it his all. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough against these terrible simian beasts. As whether it's the fright of this thing appearing in front of you and you just suddenly lose your tight grip on the axe handle, or whether it's just because the ruddy flesh of this thing is so thick that the blade pierces and it just bares all its teeth at you like apes are prone to do, and lets its tongue snake out, and then its claw goes down towards you. Now, our necromancer isn't exempt from this, but it is your undead puppet that is being mauled. Once again, Thane seems peculiarly protected by his flight. Don't get too comfortable. So everyone in this contest, please tell me again your armor classes. Start with Magwin.
14.
14. Gugon.
13.
13. Asathi.
17.
17. And the undead minion doesn't need an armor class. All right. So these monsters smash down with their heavy claws into Magwin and Gugon. And the blows really are quite monstrously heavy. They have reach, they have sharp, dirty claws, and they just cleave into your bodies. Into Magwin, 8 hit points worth of piercing damage as the fingers just drive into the halfling's torso.
I'm still alive.
Oh, wow.
2 HP left.
Into Gugon, 10 points of piercing damage as a claw just slams into his neck. Is Gugon still with us?
Oh, yeah. We're good.
Excellent. They do have a multi-attack, though, as many of the creatures I selected for this scenario do, because as they swipe with their claws, they then lunge with their teeth. So let's see whether you're still surviving after that.
You said it was 10 hit points, right?
It dealt 10 hit points worth of damage to you. I'm rolling to attack again because this is a separate attack. And wow, okay, once again, the Asathi is just able to snake out of the way here and tease the monster quite horribly. That poor creature. Gugon. Gugon and Magwin are less fortunate than that, unfortunately, for them anyway. And we'll just see. Magwin, you are dealt 6 points of damage. How's Magwin doing?
I'm dead.
Magwin was our longest. Oh no, Thane survived.
With my last words, I look up at Thane and go, "Flying fool!"
So Sorry, didn't hear that. Gugon, you're dealt 8 points of damage. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Wow, okay. The puppeteered undead creature is smashed to ribbons.
I have no doubt. I drop the shoulders and scream. And not like in a particularly like intimidating fashion, more of just like a scream queen backing up into the door because the serial killer is there, sort of like, ah! And back away.
Thane, again, from your position of aerial dominance, everything has seemed pretty damn safe so far until you see the loping, swinging shapes of these Titan-spawn gorillas, for want of a better description, swinging between the stalagmites towards you. There were some just clinging on at the ceiling, and they are quite keen. They can attack as a pack to take you and your arrogant ass down to ground level. You have evaded my claws for too long, says the deer.
Okay, it's personal. Okay, all right. I see how it is. I see how it is. It's fine. It's fine.
Thane, you can see them coming because they're not making any effort at stealth. How are you going to act? Is there some kind of defense, or are you just going to go at full tilt to get to the other side of the dungeon?
He's got his flight speed of 40.
Mm-hmm.
So he would keep distance and shoot back with a short bow.
Okay, so you're going to shoot at them. You're not just going to use all your action at with fleeing.
Oh wait, I can get 80 feet out of this. Yeah, he's 80 foot. You know.
I shouldn't have given you the option, really, should I?
Well, thanks for reminding me.
They keep pace with you, but they're never quite fast enough to catch up. But that does mean again that the gang is going to be forced to take a door unless you want to.
Music.
Yeah. You either take them on in a round of combat, Dane, while you choose the most appropriate door, or the rest of the party does, or you all barrel through the closest possible one. Thoughts, group?
Probably the closest one.
Masters?
I mean,
I assume everyone is fleeing, or is Gugon going to remain in battle? He is a barbarian.
That's true. I'll rage and buy them time to pick whatever door they want.
How heroic!
Oh, that's good, Goo. That's good action there from the orc.
I'm gonna just scream and run towards whatever seems to be the path of least resistance because I'm out of spells and I'm out of bodies that I can get back up. So
give it a second.
Oh yeah, you might have another.
I mean,
one.
I have bodies, but I don't have the spell slots to animate them.
Yeah, it only took 5 minutes of play to run out of spells.
Wizards don't do low levels well.
Yeah, no. Especially when you got like a plan for like your casting routine.
Yeah, not when the party is turning on each other at the drop of a hat. I wasn't actually expecting so much betrayal when I started running this, but
Listen, Thane has been entirely heartbroken and devastated by each and every loss that has happened here.
Yes, we felt it as well.
Thane has done nothing wrong ever in his life.
So,
to get to.
As Gugon is holding back the Manster, and is Thane going to continue his flight away and just going to barrel through the next door, or is he going to try and hold them off so that you can make a choice?
Discretion is the better part of valor in this situation. He's going to make sure that he doesn't risk any undue punishment.
Okay, then
He's a coward.
Then I'm going to go to the Asathi, who has been able to evade all these monsters completely. you were able to get to the door quickest. Are you just going to open it for Thane to fly on through? Are you going to be the first through?
I will stand to the side and open it in front of him.
Wonderful. Thane flies on through the door as if to tip the hat and say thank you very much. And straight through with Mansters swinging down after. Are you holding back to engage them, or are you following Thane in through?
I will hold back and try to help the party.
See, this is what brings a party together. Chris, I see you have a new character. Who are you playing?
Yes, I'm playing Lashkim, which is another rogue, a knife fighter, and who's a former outlaw tunnel dweller. So while these two brave souls are holding back the enemy, this little Slytherin is just darting in between legs and running towards the door. Just get out of my way! Get out of my way!
Okay, the Slytherin makes his way through the door as well, and I assume the Necromancer has done likewise.
I'm going to follow the Slytherin. Yeah,
Yeah.
Same thing you do when there's a ship sinking.
Follow that's what. Yeah. So the Asathi and the Orc are left to hold the fort. So I'm going to allow you some attacks. Could I get an attack roll from both Ali and Dennis, please? That'll be your strength if you're using melee.
Well, we've already established a 9's not going to cut it, so I miss.
Yeah, definitely not. You're going to need to get over 16 or 16 or over to exceed this thing's armor class.
So I get a 15.
Ooh.
Does rage do anything to help me?
I think it does add a bonus to your strength. So yeah, I would say so.
I don't know. I've never played a barbarian before, so I don't know how to add that or where.
It only adds to your strength for ability checks and damage. So it doesn't let you hit any better.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what? I'm going to bend the rules slightly and say as in this case, because I like this dramatic showdown of Gugon with probably only one hit point left, swinging his battle axe heroically at the Mansters, an entire pack of Mansters that is converging on him. Roll for your damage, please.
All right, so my battle axe is a D8. I got 1. Gugon does not have good luck.
No.
I'm surprised he even made it into this door.
He
runs the other way.
He really swings the battle axe with aplomb. It creates a ripple of applause in his head, and it does slow the Mansters down because they have really never seen any prisoner, just stop and swing an axe so ineffectively in their general vicinity. It's like you're doing a dance number with it. It's less to hit, more to show. And so as you pirouette and swing the axe around and go off to your happy place, you slice into one of them and deal a point of damage, cutting a chunk of flesh off. And that's when they stop being an appreciative audience and descend upon you.
Everybody's a critic.
Whoosh, the crowd's killing today.
Yeah, well, we've never seen an orc dancer in an RPG before, but now we have an orc barbarian dancer. I assume you can't withstand 14 points of damage.
No.
No. Your head is plowed clean off of your chest as the neck gets disintegrated and the head just disappears, lands at the Asathi's feet. What's the Asathi attacking with?
A falchion.
Okay, so that's a pretty hefty weapon, but unfortunately it does little damage. Thankfully, Gugon is causing such a distraction that you are only engaged with one Manster. The falchion narrowly misses the monster that's attacking you, the single one. It lurches towards you, swings with its heavy arms. And what's your armor class, Dennis?
17.
17. Its first swing does nothing, and so it tries to clamp down on you with its teeth. And it misses with that, with his jaws as well. The Asathi is living a charmed life. Whatever luck Gugon had has... Actually, no, that wouldn't have transferred over to the Asathi. Asathi has absorbed any luck that Gugon ever had. And as Gugon is pummeled into paste, the Asathi has the opportunity to turn tail and run. Are you going to do that?
Well, there's nothing left for me here. The party's not here anymore, so I tried.
The Asathi flees with the pack, now that Gugon is smashed into a puddle, chasing after the Asathi, leading the group through the door that bore a symbol of a cliff top. Fane, this is the most unusual room yet, because while the previous one had a ceiling that you couldn't see but was definitely there, it feels now like you've actually exited the dungeon. You may even have done so. You have emerged from the door onto a cliff top, and before you stretches what can only be, to your mind, the blossoming sea off to the south coast of Zathisk. Is this it? Are you free? Looking back, you can see a mound emerging from the ground with a door just ajar where other prisoners are rolling out from it.
Lashkin is doing a little jig. He's like, we're free! We're free!
Same.
Travis, if you could shuffle through the portrait deck, please, for what they see on the cliff top.
Absolutely.
As Fane connects with ground...
For just a moment, he'll be right
Ah,
back.
yes.
But the rest of us are certainly running out.
Mm-hmm. And obviously the door is still open, and so there's a whole slew of monsters about to charge out after you. Dennis, does the Asathi close the door? Or try?
He'll try.
Okay, do a strength roll, please.
Does this constitute a saving throw?
I'm going to say yes, because what you're essentially doing is trying to resist the door from being bashed open.
In that case, it is still a 7.
The door slams open. That's incorrect. It would be incorrect to say the door slams open. The door is slammed off of its hinges as the Asathi tries to hold it back behind him. The door, heavy, wooden, wrought with iron, crashes onto him with the monsters charging out, loping out behind. I'm going to roll some damage, some crushing damage here, as monsters trample you.
That's fair.
The Asathi is dealt 8 hit points worth of damage.
Oh.
Are you
All right.
still with us?
Yeah.
You are. There are, of course, more monsters that are going to stampede over you. So what you do at this point, are you just going to stay underneath the door and hope that the spread of damage or spread of weight across the door is somehow better than being trampled and eaten by these things? Or are you going to try and roll away, or what?
Well, I can't take many more of those as they step on the door, so I'm going to try to roll out and run.
Do a dexterity roll, please. Make it good.
That's a 20.
Wow, a natural 20?
No, 17 with modifier.
No, it's still damn good. It's a good result. As you roll out from underneath the door, you just wait for a break in the stampede, and as one of the packs charges over you, there's a brief lull. You roll out underneath the door, battered, bruised, some bones broken, but safe. And as you roll out, the door flattens against the grass, and more of these monsters charge out over it towards the rest of your companions that are on the edge of this cliff. And that actually puts you behind the monsters. The monsters right now facing the prisoners who are on the cliff edge. And so I turn to our necromancer. Well, I turn to our other three characters, and I won't wait for Fane to come back. Although I have to say, that this is a very that was a very clever way of Connery avoiding character death there.
He's just returned.
Yeah.
Quick question: how close to the edge are we?
How close do you want to be?
I mean, I'd like to be. My thought was I was really going to try to like Roadrunner these guys and just minor illusion, make an outcropping that sticks out just a little bit further than it actually does, and try to bait them over to it.
Monsters aren't that smart, so yeah, go for it.
Excellent. They just would need to make an intelligence investigation check, I guess.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to make a roll for them as a group and see whether they fall for your illusion. They do fall for your illusion.
Literally.
While not all of them are just going to buffalo their way off the edge of the cliff, one after the other, a great many of them charge, mistaking you and the false you and false ledge as real, and just go barreling over the edge of the cliff. And you don't look down to see where they land, but you hear the thwack of meat and bone on rocks below. And that leaves you with only two monsters left, hulking, lurching. One of them grunts, the other one grunts, and just slowly, disaffectedly, they just start loping back towards the dungeon door. They operate happiest as a pack.
Hey, we finally killed something.
It seems like you've met freedom. You found freedom and peace. Fane, are you still in flight, or have you touched down on the ground now?
If he has the opportunity to, he stays above the fray. He's better than this.
You can see, just grazing on the cliffside, just gnawing on some grass, a beautiful looking goat with metallic horns curled around its head. It's quite sizable. It looks up at the group.
Thane will fly up, keeping at a decent distance, not like getting right next to it. And give it a once over. Would he recognize this?
Let's do an intelligence roll, please.
All right. I believe I have nature. Would that count?
Yes, it would.
Goat. Because I rolled a 4.
No. All you know is this is a very big, beautiful looking goat. But what else you feel beyond that is entirely up to you.
Nice mountain you got here.
It cocks its head at you, looking a bit askew. And if it's possible for a goat to frown, it does so. It lowers its head and it scuffs its hooves. It means little to you. It's hardly going to damage you as you're in flight. But it huffs and puffs and charges. And it charges at our necromancer, who so confidently, so hubristically was there holding her spell book aloft, saying, "See what can be done with magic. Look at this," she says, turning her back to the goat.
Fool.
What's your armor class, Travis?
Oh, really low. Oh, it's a 12.
Okay, tell me what you're saying as the goat smashes into your lower back.
I did it! I beat you!
And then crunch as the Amalthean goat smashes its hard head and horn into your back. And I'm not going to roll for damage. It just smashes you off the edge of the cliff.
That's fair. Ah, it was so short-lived!
My death means nothing.
I hold up the spell book and write "oops" on it again. Ah.
Just another session for the therapy that Thane's gonna have to go through.
Yeah, that one's going into the.
Even the goats hate us. Even domesticated animals.
Is it just one goat, or are there more?
There are more further down the cliff. They seem to be taking the lead of their pack leader, if goats travel in packs, herd, I guess. And they're creeping towards the rest of the group. You don't believe you're in the dungeon.
Natives are restless.
Some of them are actually climbing up the cliff side quite adeptly in a way that defies gravity.
I have an idea. I'm gonna try to jump onto the goat that pushed off the necromancer, and I'm gonna try to ride it.
That can't go wrong.
Obviously not.
I'm going to give you a choice.
This idea.
Do a charisma or a strength.
Charisma or strength. Well, my charisma is 8, so strength 10 it is. Oh, 15.
I think Matthew might have frozen on us.
Oh no. Uh-oh. I thought he was just like,
This
is a great freeze frame, though.
He is so amused that it locked him up.
Oh no.
He is stuck in kind of a judgmental pose.
I mean, that's
really?
fair.
Really?
That's fair. That happens.
All right.
I mean, blue screen is the appropriate response to, I'm going to ride the monster now.
Right.
Everyone stay calm. Everyone stay patient. Okay.
That's fair.
1, 2, get her! That couldn't have gone.
No, it was fun. It was a good pile of death.
Oh my god, yeah.
Forgive us, our DM is frozen. But hopefully he returns shortly. I wonder if he knows he's frozen.
I wonder if he's
coming
aware.
back. I just saw him say he's returning. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, while you're waiting, you should head over to the Creature Collection Kickstarter, because we have some more stretch goals to unlock. We are creeping up on our 49,000 is the next goal, and we're not too far away, so
Ooh.
You should head over that way and help us make it happen.
You thought I was done?
The Dark Lord has returned.
This is
now, I don't know whether I'm actually broadcasting on the Twitch at this point or whether I'm just in the Zoom chat, but I'm sure Travis can.
We can still hear you. So your image is still frozen, but I'm going to make
That's fine. I'm sure it's my best side.
Absolutely. It is a dramatically appropriate pose.
It's really just... It's peak DM evil.
Yeah. Very, very much so.
All right then. So, yes, you rolled a strength roll. What was your result, please?
15 was my result.
15. Oh, okay.
Good roll.
Yeah, well, I'm going to roll to see whether it just bucks you off the edge of the cliff.
No.
It doesn't. You manage to cling on to its horns, and while your back sign leaves the goat's back, and you don't think this is a safe place to hold on for long, you're given a bit of confidence by the fact that you manage it by looping your arms around the horns.
I just go, follow me! And I just try to urge it to ride away in a kind of desperate attempt to not die.
Well, the goat isn't inclined to charge itself off the cliff, so I'm going to try another strength roll to buck you off, but if it fails, it's just going to charge away with you on its back for you to live another tale, another adventure that will be off camera, with the magical Amalthean goat. Let's see how that goes. You succeed. You cling on, and off you ride. A happy ending. Maybe let's hear an epilogue for your character. What happens? You ride off on the back of an Amalthean goat.
Lashkin wasn't really sure what was going to happen. He's kind of the kind of guy who thinks that far ahead, but he rides the goat until the goat either throws him off or he managed to ditch it somehow, and then he just kind of wanders and realizes he has no idea how to live off the wilds, and just kind of slowly starves until he eats some strange kind of mushroom and dies in a weird stomach cramp pain. He's somewhere he doesn't know what to do.
So you were in fact freer in the prison than you were in the wilderness.
It sure was.
A beautiful irony to that. Thank you for shifting all the images around, Travis, for epilogues. As the rest of the characters, Thane excluded because he is quite happily flying above the fray, as he has been able to for the majority of this. Amalthean goats converging on all of you. What action are you going to take as a group?
Leave if we can.
What's that?
Leave if we can.
Are you going to...
I'm not going to wait to be surrounded by goats.
So tell us a little bit about your character, Dennis. Has your character ever had interaction with goats before?
No, my character was an urbanite. His father was a wealthy snake oil salesman who recently passed away, and he was traveling to the city in which he lived to inherit his business.
Ah, beautiful. And yeah, this is all very foreign to you. So as the Amalthean goats converge on you, do you run or do you try walking away?
I'm going to try to back away slowly at first and avoid direct eye contact because that'll probably make them mad.
Okay, you back away slowly, and the Amalthean goats themselves slow down. They ease off. Now, what I would like is, as you are all free of the dungeon at this point, we have some survivors. Thane is the longest lasting survivor out of all of the prisoners, being an initial character.
And a coward.
Admittedly, helping suggest stuffing halflings into holes and generally avoiding all conflicts by flying above it. But you bear the mental scars. So let's start with your epilogue.
Thane, once free of this hellish experience, he had dedicated himself to Denev to find a quiet place. Now he really needs that quiet place more to just piece together what's left of his sanity after watching such death and destruction. He's going to find a nice little grove, maybe in the Hornsaw Forest or something like that. He heard it's nice around this time of year. And, just relax. Hope for the best.
And as an addendum, a coda to that, it feels to Thane like this is the sensible thing to do. After all, there must be some mental baggage from all of this death. But after a week, 2 weeks, a month of living in solitary confinement in the beautiful wilderness, you realize you didn't care about any of them at all. No, you're fine with it. Yeah.
You know what? Screw him.
Yeah.
Goes about his life.
Because this isn't a game with a message. And Dennis, you're Asathi. Now that you've worked out how to tame these goats, what about your epilogue?
Reaching the city eventually to inherit his father's snake oil empire. He realized that there's probably a market for goat horns too, because those things send necromancers real far. And he will form a research committee to investigate the possible uses for goats with his great wealth.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And as the Zathesk nobles are highly influenced by Asathi fashion, I imagine that your sudden splendor of Amalthean goat horns catches on like wildfire, and it is now the done thing that if you're a Zathesk noble, you have to wear Amalthean goat horns. And this was all started by you.
Fantastic.
Now, Ali, you didn't actually get to play your latest character for very long.
No, Gugon was really the last one to participate.
Yeah. Well, in that case, your epilogue, if you would like to narrate it, is what was Gugon thinking as he was being pulverized by the monsters?
Well, he went out a hero, so I really think a lot of people got to live because of Gugon.
In his mind, he went out a hero. That's correct. Yeah. And
They members won.
Gracefully. Like a
and that leaves us with Travis. And your epilogue, Travis, is what you were thinking as you were falling off the cliff.
What is that down there? It's getting so much bigger. It's big and round. I think I'm going to call it ground.
Does the necromancer land in a little boat in the blossoming sea and take to a maritime life in the south, or is it a more grisly end for our death dealer?
Due to a bizarre turn of circumstances and magical misfiring, she turns into a petunia just before impact and just shatters on the rock.
Not again.
Like you said. Not
again. Well, that's a fine ending to a game of Scarlands. So thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this. Thank you very much to everyone who watched this. This was a lot of very silly fun. Obviously, most games of Scarlands are a little more nuanced. But I think this was a nice display of some of the monsters in the creature collection. It was pretty random. There were lots of different rooms they could have gone in, and they decided they would meet camels and goats, as well as steering winds and sour grubs, among various others. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the art that was on display from the book as well. And not all of the monsters are horribly brutal, just some of the ones they decided to go up against. So, with that said, is there anything that anyone would like to promote before we sign off for the night?
I would just like to say again that I also play Jack Quick on the Athens, Ohio Scion stream, which has just completed its first season. And so if you'd like to be a subscriber to our Twitch channel, or if you'd like to check us out on YouTube, all of those episodes should be available. And check out Scion. It's a great system. I've had a lot of fun with this. I've had a lot of fun with that. And I look forward to gaming for you guys again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dennis.
And tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST Eastern, I'll be storytelling a game of Changeling the Lost. So if you're interested in that, then please drop by. It's here on the Onyx Path Twitch.
Excellent.
And we're coming back this Saturday. We've had a couple of weeks of illness spreading through the studio around here, but we're all recovered mostly. So Pirates of Bloodwater is returning this Saturday for more Blood Sea hijinks and intensity as they go looking for their next treasure. on the Seas. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. It is hosted on the Onyx Path, but it's on Devil's Luck Gaming at Twitch.
And I play on Extreme Drowis. It'll be on next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. I'm Ember, and we just defeated a god that I'm going to ask to save my life from Tiamat.
Cool.
Yeah,
they've got
Tiamat.
the stew
It's
over there.
pretty difficult to have life saved from Tiamat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in some trouble.
You know, someone might help. And Travis, anything you want to promote at the end here?
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick, again, want to share the link and tell you to go and grab your copy of the Creature Collection on Kickstarter. We are down to hours, and there are just a number of really cool ways you can get your hands on the book. A couple different options for tiers you can back on, so please consider doing that. Also, in the on a personal note, I guess I should say, two things. One, The Haunt 3 just came out over at Drive-Thru RPG, so please do check that out. Me and Phil Beckwith, who was here earlier but had to go, we put out this. This wraps up the trilogy of The Haunt, which the first one was featured in Dragon Magazine, so it's been a really cool ride getting to work on this stuff. And I listened to Dream Warriors on a loop while I was writing The Haunt 3, so it should be a lot of fun. And then also on a personal note, thank you, Matthew, for running this and for letting me be a player in it. That's a rare privilege that I...
Not a traditional Scarred Lands game. Maybe I'll get to run a proper game for you at some point, Travis.
We'll have to make that happen. We'll absolutely have to make that happen. But yeah, it's been
yeah.
fun. Thank you.
And so, yeah, to echo everyone here, please do, if you're not already subscribed to our Onyx Path Twitch channel, please do so. And also, again, Creature Collection, not long left on Kickstarter, so please do give it a look. We've also got Deviant the Renegades on Kickstarter, which is a Chronicles of Darkness game. That's got about a week left to back, and that's done very, very well. But so much you can spend your money on, but really fantastic role-playing games and role-playing game source books. I love a bestiary, and Creature Collection has always been my favorite collection of monster manuals ever since 3rd edition. So please do give it a look, and thank you very much for watching. You can terminate our broadcast, Travis.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Keep doing the awkward wave so I can find the pre-roll.